Hello, I'm Nathan Judo. I'm here with Wolves reporters, Mr. Liam Keane. Liam, Chelsea 3, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, and Wolves got exactly what they deserved, and that's no points.
Yeah, nail on the head. I mean, that first half was pretty poor from Wolves' perspective. They conceded a goal with a little bit of help from VAR, but he seemed to be on the side. And Chelsea were way on top. Chelsea were dominant. Chelsea were free-flowing. Wolves were struggling to contain them. They were sitting very deep. And all of a sudden they get a goal out of nowhere. Matt Doherty does fantastically well to sort of pounce, the instincts to pounce on it. Cunha puts in a good corner. Pretty much the only good thing he did all day, but we will come back to that. And Doc does really well. Good goal. Wolves going to half-time 1-1, and you think there's an opportunity to build something going into a second half. And for 10-15 minutes or so, Wolves did okay. Chelsea didn't offer a lot.
Nothing game, second half to start.
There wasn't a lot going on. There was not a lot of action. Wolves were defending relatively well, looking after the ball okay. Didn't seem like they were in a lot of danger. And somehow they find themselves with both Semedo and Aït-Nouri both on the right-hand side. Of course, they had switched in the first half, so it was Aït-Nouri meant to be on that side, Semedo was meant to be on the left. All of a sudden, they find themselves on the same side, as Chelsea go on a transition. Noni Madueke picks the ball up on that far side. He's got acres of space, whips across in, Dewsbury Hall flicks it on, and Wolves' defence are totally asleep, completely at sea. Cucurella slips in for an easy finish, and from there the game's gone. Wolves' heads are gone. They concede from another set piece for the third goal, and from pretty embarrassing fashion. 19 set pieces conceded this season, and they lose the game 3-1 pretty comfortably. It was a nothing really game after that third one.
I don't think Chelsea were particularly good tonight.
No, they didn't have to be either.
No, so much space that Wolves gave them. They played so narrow, but the width that they got. But also, like, where was the pressing tonight? Where was the running? The body language throughout this game from more than one player, 5, 6 or 7 players, was atrocious.
Yeah.
The minimum you can do coming here when Chelsea haven't won in 5 games and there's a bit of pressure on them is to put some pressure on them, attack, and make it difficult for them. Wolves made it easy for them tonight, and that's the problem. And look, Chelsea players are better than Wolves, so they're going to outclass you, every so often. But that was time and time and time again, and it was 3-1. And to be honest, it could have been 4 or 5 by the end of it.
Yeah, it was comfortable. That's
third gear. They didn't get out of third gear.
No, exactly.
Chelsea.
It was comfortable for Chelsea, and that's to Wolves' detriment. Is Wolves' issues and concerns with an abject performance, is the way we both described it during both halves, really. And that's 51 goals now conceded in 22 Premier League games. That's one worse than Southampton, of course, who are bottom of the table. Wolves have got the worst offensive record in the league by a decent margin.
Where's the fight tonight? There's no fight there.
I mean,
there wasn't any fight on that pitch.
You could pick out 1 or 2. I thought João Gomes worked hard.
João Gomes worked hard. I thought Agbadou had a decent game.
Yeah,
I thought he worked
Larson
hard.
did his best to hold the ball up, but had nothing around him. And I mean, huffed and puffed a bit. And then we come on to Wolves' best player. We come on to Matheus Cunha, a player that has that something special. He's got that star quality. He's got that magic, that pizzazz. He's got something about him. Didn't look like he wanted to be out there at all tonight. And now, I don't want to completely lay all the blame at Matheus Cunha's door, because the first thing I need to mention is the Wolves are far too reliant on him. Wolves are over-reliant on one player. First of all, we said that in the very first game of the season at Arsenal back in August. Wolves,
and that's why the focus is on him, really, because he's your talisman.
Wolves are over-reliant on him, and he's a fantastic player. And when he is on it, he's brilliant. But he was way below his standards today. His body language was horrendous. He was throwing his arms around, walking, not tracking back, not working hard, not doing the basics. And at the end, as the players and the staff are all on the sort of D area near the away end, they're clapping the fans. The Wolves fans that have stayed are clapping them. Matheus Cunha walks off down the tunnel. I think it's really poor from a player that is a leader, is a natural presence in that dressing room, and has done himself no favours today. Yeah,
look, I defend him slightly in the fact that he missed Friday's training. He was ill, so we don't know whether he was 100%. But at the same time, he's played 96 minutes of football there and done nothing. Like you say, his body language was so poor, and that to me doesn't look like a player who's just about to sign a new contract at Wolverhampton Wanderers. And that's the worrying thing, and that's where the speculation will be tonight. You look at his comeback. He's had this time off in Brazil that was granted to him by Vitor Pereira. He said, look, I'll look after my players, but they've got to come and look after us. He hasn't shown that so far. It's been very, very difficult. I know he's had an injury as well, but Wolves will need Matheus Cunha to be playing and going back to the level that we saw a couple of months ago, because this team are banging trouble.
Yeah, I mean, they're well in a relegation fight. These last 3 games have been maybe not to the very worst of the Gary O'Neill era as he came to the end of his spell, but very close. I mean, his performances have been pretty poor.
That's as bad as I've seen them tonight for a long time.
I completely agree. And it was the abject nature of it. It was that it was how comfortable it was for Chelsea. It was that Wolves at no point looked like they were going to get back into the game. And talk about Cunha, you are right to point out the illness. I think that's we've got to be fair to him as well that he was unwell. But if he's well enough to start the game and play the full game, as you say, he's well enough to put in a better performance than that. It's the basics. It's the fight. It's the running. It's the hard work. It's the tracking back. It's the trying to encourage the teammates around you. I saw him do nothing but whinge and whine to his teammates today. And the natural questions, whether it's accurate or not, but the natural questions, as you've already pointed out, will be: has his head gone? Has his head been turned by interest from elsewhere? Is he committed to what Wolves want to do? Now, he's had bad spells for Wolves this season. Right at the end of when Gary O'Neill, his last 2 or 3 games before he lost his job, Cunha was really poor in those games. He's got the magic. I'm sure he'll come back and perform well for this club. But it's only natural we ask those kind of questions, and we'll put them to Vitor Pereira because Wolves fans, the ones who've travelled down on the Monday night, deserve a bit better. Mario
Lemina put himself forward, said I want to be back involved. Wasn't in the squad tonight. Does that speak volumes again?
It does. It's also not a surprise to me. We slightly disagreed. He felt he might be there, but I just thought, considering all that's gone on, it would be a mistake to put him straight back into the squad. It'll be interesting how the next few days and weeks go with the transfer window open until the 3rd of February. And then, as it stands, Wolves are trying to move him on and bring a midfielder in, as we know, with Manu, Silva, deal falling through to bring him from Portugal.
It's been about 48 hours all round with Everton winning as well.
Yeah, and Wolves had an opportunity with Ipswich getting pumped 6-0 as well to just give themselves a tiny gap. I'm not saying they were always going to come here and win this game, but to give themselves some sort of leverage, and they failed really miserably.
And 3 easy games coming up in Arsenal, Aston Villa, and Liverpool away.
Blackburn for in the middle of that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not even talking about that. I mean, whatever. That's the FA Cup, but there's no way that this side playing like this gets any points in those next 3 games. They've got to change. They've got to sort themselves out. It's got to come from the bottom to the top. But that spine for me is weak at this moment in time. It's very passive, and you just need Matheus Cunha to start banging the goals, because at this moment in time, Jorgen Strand Larsen, if Wolves had players who were in form, if they had plenty of chance scoring goals, he needs to take out the firing line as well, because he doesn't like the player that we saw 3 or 4 weeks ago either.
Yeah.
There's problems all over this pitch, and there's little fires to put out.
And you talk about the spine, Wolves desperately need a centre-back. They have to have a centre-back in there. I thought Andre, the game passed him by a little bit today. I don't think he was particularly poor, but he was
taken off.
Exactly, booked, taken off. I thought he was overran in midfield. Roger Gomez was trying his hardest to get Wolves back into the game. And then it goes all the way through to Larsen, who I thought really put the effort in and tried, but to no avail. He looked low on confidence. He's struggling to get himself involved, and some of the delivery into him has been really poor as well. Someone like Ryan Nouri, who's clearly a talented footballer, just not picking the right passes. Paulo Sarabia a yard off it. Matheus Cunha, who we obviously discussed. Without those kind of players performing, Wolves are never going to score goals, never going to get themselves back into games.
More of the Keenan Judge Show tomorrow. We'll have the podcast Wolves Poddy to you on Thursday. It's Chelsea 3, Wolverhampton 1 for all the post-match reaction. Make sure you log on to expressandstart.com.